माफिया वाले गन दिखा के डराते, ये लोग भगवान दिखा के डराते। That's a good one. आपके बच्चे की कुंडली बहुत खराब है, वो मांगलिक है, उसको काल सर्प योग है, शनि का साया है, मंगल की माया है, क्या है वो बेचारा अभी तो पैदा हुआ, उसको सांस तो ले। फिर इस सबके इलाज के लिए वो लोग पूजा पाठ की बंदूकें निकालते हैं, और जीते जी तो छोड़िए, ये आपको अगले जन्म के लिए भी डराते। हाँ,
so again this is a disanalogy. So what is he comparing? He's saying that the gundas come and take hafta, Vishwagan, aisa to maar dal. So similarly, he's saying that religious people come and say that you have got this problem, you got that problem, and do this ritual, or you will suffer. So actually, there's a fundamental difference between the two. In the case of the gundas, they are creating the trouble. The gundas are going to shoot and beat and kill the people if they don't give that particular hafta or whatever. But when it comes to religion, is it if somebody has, for argument's sake, even if you don't believe that there is some problem, if somebody says in a horoscope there is some problem, and because of which you have to do this particular ritual. So even if you don't believe that is true, is it that those religious people are going to cause those problems? Is it that those religious people are going to create the disease in the child? No. Actually speaking, the example appropriate for this is different. If, when a child is born, at that time the doctor comes and tells, now your child has got a congenital heart problem, and for that, to take care of this, you have to do this surgery. And for doing that surgery, this is the process, this is the expense, and this is what is involved. So what is the doctor doing? The doctor is not creating the problem. The doctor is helping the patient to solve the problem. So similarly with respect to religion. Now, in medical science, there is certain kind of scientific analysis by which people understand that this is the cause and this is going to be the effect. Now, for the ordinary vision, we don't know. Somebody says, I have got a congenital heart problem. Then it's not that my parents are going to open my heart to see whether they got that. Actually, they believe, yes. And they believe the doctors and they do the treatment. And it's quite possible that many doctors may fleece the patients. They may cheat the patients and make them do unnecessary surgeries, not required tests. But that doesn't mean that the medical science is false, and that doesn't mean all doctors are bad. Similarly, there is the law of karma. The law of karma determines that for every action there is a reaction. Now, the law of karma is basically our day-to-day experience extended over long term. Now, if, say, your child comes to your home and you find that there is a burn mark on the child's hand, immediately you ask, what happened? Isn't it? That means, as soon as we see an effect, we assume that there is a cause. And we try to tell you what is the cause. So, we assume implicitly that there is a cause-effect connection between things. So, same way, there is a cause-effect connection which extends to before this life and beyond this life. There is a cause-effect connection which extends over multiple lifetimes. And that cause-effect connection can be perceived by certain subtle means. That means that now I cannot go into a full class about how astrology is a science, but suffice it to say that the whole mind-brain phenomena is far too complex for any scientist to claim that we have understood it completely. And there are many studies which have observed, which have noted that certain seasonal variations, certain atmospheric variations, certain cosmic variations in terms of phases of the moon and other things, they seem to affect people's behavioral patterns, especially mental behavioral patterns, in certain ways. This is not necessarily a well-documented fact, but there are surveys which point towards this. So the important point here is, in medical science, there is a certain level of research which claims that there is a correlation between this and this. Now, we put faith in that. So there are other people who put faith in astrology. So now we may say that I don't believe in astrology. That's true. But that doesn't make those who are religious teachers into Buddhas. There is no correlation between them. They are also doctors of another kind. If somebody doesn't want to believe in those doctors, that's fine. Don't believe in it. But to equate that with hooligans who are extorting from others is misleading. It is manipulation of public opinion by giving false examples. So, now how does this law of karma work? Actually, the law of karma, all of us, just as we have certain biological indicators of what is going to happen in future. A person may have a weak kidney or a less well-formed brain or whatever. So like that, there are certain indicators of what may be right and what may be wrong. And they are understood through astrology and through other such subtle sciences. And based on that, some people may give us some warnings. Now if we want to believe, if we don't want to believe in them, fine. And we also have to be intelligent. Just like when I go to a doctor, I have to be intelligent that to choose a good doctor. Not a doctor who wants to fleece me, but a doctor who wants to help me. Similarly, if we want to do Kundalini, we have to see who is a trustworthy person. And that way, discrimination is required, not rejection. We can't reject all doctors. Similarly, if one wants to use astrology, one has to use discrimination. Let's move on. One more question over here that was left out. So, saying that they threaten people with next life also. That is, in your next life you'll become like this, you'll become like that. So, it's not a threat, it's a warning. What is the difference between a threat and a warning? A threat is where I am going to do this to you if you don't do it. A warning is this is going to happen to you, please don't do this. There's a difference between that, a big difference. Now, if on a road, warning sign says there is a sharp turn, go slowly, otherwise you will fall. That's not a threat. That's a warning. So similarly, all of us are souls, and we have this body right now, and we have a human body, a male body or a female body. And we, after this body dies, we will get another body. Now, there are many significant studies in near-death experiences and past life memories done by respected scientific researchers who do indicate that people remember their past lives. So, if somebody wants to study, then there is evidence that past life memories are scientifically tenable. So, after we die, we are going to get the next body. And what is the kind of body that we are going to get? That will be determined by the way we live this life. So Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita in 8.456 this principle. He says that it is the law of last thought. Antakale yamyamva kisvani bhagam tijityante kalevanam tamtamevaiti kamteya sadata bhavavavita. Is whatever we remember at the time of death, that's what we will get in our next life. So, and what will we remember at the time of death? That which we are very attached to in this life. So, if somebody lives, somebody say, eats a lot of meat, and basically human body is not really suited for eating meat. And we can't catch animals of prey with our claws and our nails and our talons, teeth. We have to have slaughterhouses to eat. The body is not suited for eating meat. But if we decide to eat a lot of meat, the nature will tell us that if that's what you want to do, if you want to eat meat, then the human body is not suited for that. It will give you a body that is suited for eating meat. And then somebody may get a carnivorous animal's body, it may be a tiger's body, it may be a dog's body, it may be any kind of animal's body. So that is simply the course of nature depending on the way we live. And it's just a warning provided over there, it's not a threat.